It's now 4 days since a South London estate agent disappeared.
The stories about what happened to Suzy are so many and varied that the facts have become somewhat obscured by rumour and gossip.
I've been reporting on the disappearance of Suzy Lamplugh since day one. The suspect, who has always denied he was Suzy's killer, is expected to be questioned over several days. It's a mystery that continues to captivate.
As a result of the reinvestigation into the murder of Suzy Lamplugh.
But 40 years on, the big question is still unanswered.
We are greatly distressed and indeed considerably angered.
Where is Suzy's body?
I don't understand the rationale. I would have meticulously searched that stretch of the canal.
Is it in a suitcase at the bottom of this canal?
Is John Cannon your prime suspect then?
He is the only suspect we have at the moment.
We would love to find her, definitely. But it's not...
You can't wait.
You can't wait, yeah.
Suzy Lamplugh was 25, living in Putney, southwest London in 1986. She'd moved out of the family home nearby and was establishing her career as an estate agent. Her family described her as bubbly and responsible, someone to go to for good advice. On the morning of the 28th of July, Suzy went to work as usual. Her office, Sturgis & Sons, was here on Fulham Road. At around 12:40 p.m, she left, taking her keys and purse, but leaving behind her handbag. She drove in her car to 37 Shorrolds Road. In her diary, Suzy wrote that she had an appointment at 12:45 with a Mr. Kipper. 3 people saw Suzy standing here outside the house. It looked like she was waiting for somebody, according to one of the witnesses. A neighbour said later she saw Suzy walking away from the house with a man. Another witness said the man was carrying a bottle of champagne. What happened next is a mystery, but witnesses said they saw Suzy's car later that afternoon on Stevenage Road, a mile away. Had she driven off with Mr. Kipper? Suzy's car, a white Ford Fiesta, was found here at 10 o'clock that night. It looked as though it had been abandoned in a hurry. It was badly parked, the doors were unlocked. Suzy's purse was still inside it, though the keys had gone. There was no sign of any struggle.
I know that the police are going to be treating
Suzy's parents, Diana and Paul Lamplugh, gave many media interviews urging people to help find her.
Only we could have some clue from him or from anybody who's seen anything strange.
In the following weeks and months, it seemed like the whole country was looking for Suzy Lamplugh. 7 years later, in 1993, she was declared presumed dead, despite her body never being found. But the police didn't stop looking. There have been many searches over the years.
My name's Jim Dickey. In the year 2000, I was tasked with the reinvestigation of the Suzy Lamplugh case.
This former Met detective says there's a vital lead still to be explored.
Here was the girl next door, went to work and never came home. And there's no feasible explanation for what happened.
40 years on, the question remains, doesn't it? Where is Suzy Lamplugh? Where do you think she could be?
There's a man who saw a person throw a large chest, like luggage type chest, into the Grand Union Canal up in Isleworth. It was in the early hours of the morning. He was a lorry driver that worked for a company in Brentford, and he used to go to work along the towpath.
Did he go to the police?
He did. He went on 3 occasions to Brentford Police Station, and he told them what happened, but that statement or information never found its way to the murder investigation, and I was totally unaware of it until I got an email in 2019 telling me about it, and I passed that information to the police, to the cold case review team.
And what happened?
Nothing.
Why not?
Ask them.
If you were talking to the whoever runs the cold case unit at Scotland Yard today, what would you say about that sighting in the Grand Union Canal?
Well, it's an opportunity. It's a line of inquiry, you know, that needs to be followed up. Okay, if you don't find anything, you don't find him, you tick the box. But it's, you know, you can't leave it open-ended. I was a career detective. I have investigated lots of homicides. I know what I'm talking about, and the story is credible. I think it's very credible, and it's a classic, you know, what do I know, how to get rid of a body, dump it in a water area. My feeling about it is, I wish we could give the family a body so they can have proper closure.
I went to the spot Mr. Dickey thinks should be searched. It's only 6 miles from where Suzy's car was abandoned. This is Transport Avenue, on the edge of a big industrial site. It's here that you would park your car if you were headed to the canal. It's only a few metres from the water's edge. Well, I'm walking along the towpath where the witness says this suspicious man was walking. He was walking in this direction, pulling or pushing what he described as a trolley, a kind of suitcase trolley with a very heavy bag on it. And he was walking in this direction, and it was about this spot where the witness says he heard a splash. The witness gave a description of the man he saw, but it was only a year later when John Cannan's picture was in the newspaper. He was on trial at Exeter Crown Court for the murder of Shirley Banks. And the witness here said he was so convinced when he saw the photograph of John Cannan that that was the man he'd seen on the canal bank, that he took the day off work and he went all the way to Exeter, went into the Crown Court and sat there during the trial and waited until Cannan had turned around so he saw a full shot, got a full shot of his face, and he was absolutely convinced that Cannan was the man that he had seen wheeling a large bag along this canal towpath and then putting it into the water. We don't know precisely the spots where the witness passed this suspicious man pulling a trolley with a big bag on it, but if it was Suzy's killer and he wanted to get rid of the body and dump it in the canal, he probably wouldn't have walked very far from where he parked the car. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. He probably wasn't expecting to see anybody, and he may have been rather spooked when he saw the witness.
Is John Cannan your prime suspect then?
He is the only suspect we have at the moment.
In 2002, the Metropolitan Police made an unusual announcement. They named John Cannan as their prime suspect for Suzy's murder, though they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Cannan was already serving life for another murder.
It is a matter of great regret for us all at the Metropolitan Police that significant opportunities were missed during the original inquiry.
So who is the prime suspect, and what evidence is there that he murdered Suzy? John Cannan grew up in Erdington, Birmingham, and committed his first sex crime at the age of 14. He assaulted a woman in a phone box. In the early 1980s, he raped 2 women. One was his girlfriend, the other a shop assistant he held at knife point. He was sentenced to 8 years in jail. In 1986, he was transferred to a hostel next to Wormwood Scrubs prison, where he was allowed out on day release. Some reports suggested he visited pubs in Putney, where Suzy was living. He was released from custody in July that year. Suzy disappeared a few days later. In the days before she vanished, Suzy was sent flowers at her office from a mystery man. In October that year, Cannan raped a woman in Reading. The following year in Bristol, he raped and murdered newlywed Shirley Banks after holding her captive. Then he dumped her body in a shallow stream. He kept Shirley's car, repainted it and added a false number plate, SLP 386S, what looked like an abbreviation of Suzy's name and the year she went missing. In a police interview in jail, Cannan told a detective that a Bristol businessman he knew was responsible for the deaths of Shirley Banks, Suzy Lamplugh and another woman. When the officer asked if he was that man, he said yes. but later denied it. Police were never able to gather enough evidence against Canal to persuade prosecutors to charge him. An internal review later criticised a senior detective for not treating Canal as a strong suspect. Canal repeatedly denied murdering Suzy and died in jail in November 2024. The Lamplugh family appealed to Canal to reveal what happened to her before he died, but he never confessed.
So in here, scale-wise, there's approximately 26,000 cards, so 26,000 people have phoned in or contacted the police with information, or it's been generated by us itself.
Detective Chief Inspector Teresa Foster leads the Met Police Cold Case Review Team.
John Canal is a suspect, a good prime suspect in this investigation, so he does have quite a few cards, because he did come into the investigation early on in 1987.
We asked her about the witness who said he saw a man resembling Canal dumping a bag into the canal 2 or 3 days after Suzy's disappearance.
In 2019, that information was brought forward from family members of that informant, and they told us what part of the canal. That canal was searched extensively in 2014 from a very, very large investigation by Marine Unit, by the Fire Brigade as well. All I'd say that is if anybody had any additional information that it was a different part of the canal, then do come forward to us and do tell us, because the information that we have given to us from the family members of that informant is we have searched that canal.
The cold case team has announced that unless a significant new lead emerges, in a year's time Suzy's case will be put into a file titled Inactive.
I would encourage anybody with any allegiance to John Canal or any allegiances to anyone, family members importantly, if they know now because somebody's passed away, or they now feel confident enough to please just come forward, because we want to find Suzy.
Intriguingly, DCI Foster said there were still potential witnesses police want to speak to.
There's about 30 people, I would say, that we need to get in contact with, try and trace them, and that's what we'll be doing sort of over the next 12 months. So yes, it's around about 30 people that may hold additional information that we didn't have before. We haven't got any forensics that links John Canal to Suzy Lamplugh at all, so that's why I'm keeping an open mind that it may be that other people were also involved.
Does that mean that Suzy's killer might still be out there? Police are still trying to identify a smudged fingerprint found on the rear view mirror of Suzy's car. It's not Suzy's or John Canal's, so whose is it?
She used to help me a lot with things like makeup and clothes, because I had absolutely no idea. I was rubbish at things like that.
She would be the one who would make sure I was ready for school. She'd be the one who would make sure I had everything I needed and give me advice always. She loved to hand out advice.
Yes.
Always good advice, sometimes.
Suzy's sisters, both younger than her, chose the family church in West London to give a rare interview. Nobody can be sure of what happened to her. But I wondered how far you accept the police view of what happened. And of course, you know, they named John Canal as the man who abducted her.
We accept that, yes. Yeah, we do. I mean, we were part of, I certainly was there. I don't know whether you were there, when the police announced.
I was there.
Yeah, well, I was there too, when I pregnant actually, the time of them announcing it, and as a family we accept it. Yeah.
If you think back to that time, did you ever feel that the police had done enough? Do you think he should have been charged?
When they told us that the CPS wasn't going to go any further, you had to accept, and at some point you have to accept that is as far as you're going to go. Otherwise you can constantly go backwards and constantly ask questions. And I think we had gone, and the police had gone as far as it could go. And I think that's, and it allowed, in a way, it allowed our mother and our parents to go, fine, and accept, and then it's time to move forward.
Yeah.
And it definitely...
And to park it.
And to park
sort of
it, yeah.
So if I asked you about a recent issue about a sighting by the Canal in West London, that's not something you want to dwell on, whether it has any meaning in terms of the police investigation?
I think if the police look into it, then, you know, you of course you support them, that's what they're going to do.
We definitely support...
And we let them do their job.
Because you want to find her.
Yeah. Yes, you want, so you want to do the job.
Ultimately, we would love to find her, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's not...
You can't wait.
You can't wait, yeah.
To find her.
What would it mean to find her, to get all those unanswered questions answered?
I don't think I could even judge that unless it happened.
I
think so much time has gone.
I don't think I allow my mind to sort of like think about that. No. I think it's a sort of an area that I don't really want to go to.
No.
The church is close to the old family home where their parents set up the Suzy Lamplugh Trust. It campaigns and educates on all issues of personal safety.
If you are attacked, if you fear an attack, you're likely to freeze, you're likely to really get tense. Then you can't operate, you can't even get some blood to the brain. I mean, you can't get any oxygen, you can't think.
HomeSafe has been put together by the Suzy Lamplugh Trust.
Before we came in, you stopped outside.
Oh yeah, I just make sure there aren't any funny noises inside.
What would you do if there were?
I'd tell one of the neighbours, Auntie Jean or Miss Williams.
You wouldn't go in?
Of course not. It might not be safe.
I mean, I think Suzy's case was definitely a seminal moment in kind of the whole understanding, particularly in relation to safety at work and personal safety more generally. I think up till that point, it hadn't really ever been considered as an issue. And I think the work that Paul and Diana did around making sure that everyone had the opportunity to kind of live their life safely was something that hadn't really happened and hadn't really been discussed up until then. It's a really sad kind of situation that we find ourselves in that 40 years after Suzy's disappearance, people are still, you know, not being protected sufficiently at work. Women don't feel safe when they're out and about or, you know, just more generally. And we still, you know, we're receiving over, 10,000 calls to the National Stalking Helpline every year. So there's still a lot that we need to do.
I've got to be optimistic, but of course, as the longer it goes, my fears grow.
The Met Police say that if Suzy had gone missing today, she would most likely have been found. With new forensic techniques, CCTV, traffic cameras, mobile phone tracking and now AI, a killer can be hunted more easily. But some of those same advancements have made stalking and the threat of violence more widespread. With the common use of social media, personal safety has become more difficult to manage. And while Suzy's family have done so much to highlight the dangers, it's a matter of continuing frustration and sadness for them that Suzy has not been found.
Although we have not lost hope that Suzy's body will eventually be discovered, we greatly regret that we've not been able to find her so far.
Suzy's spirit lives on, as does her legacy, the Suzy Lamplugh Trust, created as a result of her charisma. Suzy was a lovely girl, and we and her brothers and sisters and many of her friends still miss her enormously.
I would like to say that it has been one of the most difficult times in the whole of our lives. I realise I can't change everything, but there's an awful lot we can do.